Stay seated for just a minute, everybody, if you would. It's on?
You're on.
Okay, how's that sound? Can you hear me? I don't know what that was. There's two things you got to remember when you speak. Make sure your tie is straight and your fly is closed. You know, I got to tell you, she is a remarkable woman. Okay, I met her a year ago. It's almost been a year, hasn't it? It's almost been a year, and I do remember when you came to Broker Owner Training. She called me when she was getting ready to put this event together, and I said, "Oh, you're in for a treat." Events are like, you know, everyone thinks we run the region, we sell franchises, and we do a lot of other things, but no one ever really signs up to be an event planner. Okay, but we are a master event planner. So if this doesn't work out, we can be event planners together. Okay? But she called me one day and she says, "I've got this great theme for what I want to do for this event." And I said, "What is it?" And she starts going into this big long speech. She goes, "Well, I have this idea, this what if thing. Like, what if we did this and what if we did that?" And I'm just listening to her ramble because she's got so much energy. You want to let her talk and exhaust herself, you know, and then you can step in and say something. And I said, we did that. I said, in fact, when we first started this company, you were witnessing the buttons that were made from when this company launched. Right, Hector? That's right. What if? That was our theme. That was our motto as a company to start this company. What if you did something different? What if there was a different real estate company and a different brand and a different idea? So as she went together and put this all together, you know, she thinks things through very well. And I was just so remarkably, it's just some things are meant to be. It's just that weird thing, right? So she goes through this whole process and gets these buttons ordered, and she emails me back or calls me that same day. She says, "You're not going to believe this." And I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, please tell that story.
She says, "You are not going to believe this." And I said, I bet I probably will. She says, "My husband was driving down the road today and got stuck behind this car. And on the license plate read, 'What if?'" And she sends me the snapshot of this license plate that says, "What if?" All right?
Wow.
Divine intervention, right? So, just real quick before you go, I just want you to say you are in good hands. She is a phenomenal lady. She's a great leader. She has a big rock to push up the hill. We all do. We're all like you. We're all the same. We're all out doing something every day trying to move our region forward. But this is very hard work. And she brings some enthusiasm and some energy, a ton of experience. The brand that she came from, we all know who that is. I don't need to mention it here. She has been very instrumental in helping me pull together a very big deal in Michigan right now. And because of the skill and the energy and the expertise that she brings to the table, she was able to really do a lot of the negotiating with these people that I'm working with right now. And I don't think I could have done it without her, because she was able to speak on their language because she had been there and done that. So if she has something to say, listen to her. She brings a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise to our field, and we're very, very proud to have her. All the best to you.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you to all the sponsors. For sure, another round of applause for them. All right.
This works for all phones?
As soon as they get out of here, we can talk about all of it.
It's not a phone. This is an actual video.
Oh, is it?
Got a little feedback, doesn't it? Okay, what I want to talk to you about today is, you know, inspiration, motivation, yada, 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 yada. I'm a very skeptical person, okay? I want to talk to you a little bit about how I got into this business, how I got into exit realty. And my topic for today, really towards the latter part of the discussion, is sponsoring do's and don'ts, okay? Talking about sponsoring. This is a very unique concept of our company. It's something that you can either choose to do or you can choose not to do, and that's okay. That's up to you, all right? What I'm going to do is try and give you some advice, some new ideas, some new tricks, some new one-liners, some catchphrases, some things that might make it a little easier for you. See, as franchisees, and I want you all to know, I was a sales agent. I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I come from, but I'm just like you, okay? I may have a suit and tie on, but I'm a hunter and a fisherman, and I like boating and all those things, and I like to go out and run around in the woods, and I'm more comfortable in blue jeans and a t-shirt. But I can wear a suit too, okay? We all do the same thing to some degree, we just have different responsibilities. My job, and Victoria's job, and the other regional owner's job is to be a conduit of information from head office down to the agent level, okay? We have to make sure that information flows from the top to the street, okay? Because you're the ones doing all the work. If it weren't for you, there would be no us, all right? And we recognize that. That's something very unique about Exit Realty. We know where our bread is buttered. We understand, so we want to make sure that we take care of the agents. But every July, we pay how much money to be part of this company? $295. So as dues time comes, and MLS due time times, that's a tongue twister. MLS dues time comes, we all sit there and go, what are we paying for, right? What am I getting for my money? And what I always say is, what have you tried to get out of what you're paying for your money? Are you using the tools and the resources that are available to you? Oftentimes when I go into a meeting like this, I say, tell me about the ERC. Raise your hand if you've ever been on the ERC. And most people say, what's the ERC? And someone in my position, that drives me crazy, because that tells me there's a disconnect, okay? There's a disconnect because, like I said, franchisees go to a week-long broker-owner training. And it's kind of like McDonald's University, right? They teach you how to make the hamburgers. What we need to do is take brand new franchisees that have never been with a brand and teach them the value of a franchise. And we need to take ex-franchisees and reprogram them from what they did at their other brand and put that into Exit Realty, okay? The problem is that that's a week-long condensed version of what should really be taught when it first came out was how long, Hector? 3-week program. Broker owner training used to be a 3-week program, but what we realized is that the brokers came back and their brains had fallen out and they couldn't get any work done because there was too much information. And when you come back from broker owner training as a franchisee, you're so excited and you're so inspired and so energetic, you don't know where to start, right? You don't know whether I need to file my LLC or get licensed with the state or what training do I do. We have all this stuff. So what we try to do is put it into compartments and make sure that when you come back, you know what to do first. We have a tremendous franchise support team, okay? We have a tremendous associate support team. Live chat, phone. You can actually reach real human beings at our company. I don't know if you've tried it, but you should try it sometime. If you ever get on the ERC and it says chat now, try that. Okay, I tried it once in front of a client. I was doing a franchise presentation, and the guy says, oh yeah, we have all that too. I said, yeah, but your phone calls go to New Jersey, and a telemarketer or a machine picks it up and then says, take a number, we'll call you back when your number's called. You call our office and you get a live person. You chat somebody and they respond to you. That's cool, that's good for me. That makes it easier for me to do my job, okay? So, again, conduit of information. What I want to do today is a mini condensed version of our broker owner training, but I want to specifically talk about sponsoring do's and don'ts, okay? The third aspect of our company. We all know we have listings and sales, but the reason that we were really developed as a company, what makes us different is because we have the ability to actually create wealth. How many of you have sponsored somebody into the company? Raise your hand. All right, it's not enough. When we leave here today, I'm going to give you some ideas that are going to help you sponsor somebody in. Some of you may say, I don't want to sponsor. I'm not comfortable sponsoring. That's not why I joined Exit. I've actually had people come to me and say, I don't care about sponsoring. How am I going to make money? Show me how to sell more real estate. Absolutely. We are a real estate company first, okay? Don't ever forget that. Exit Realty is a real estate company first. We just happen to have the icing on the cake that if you want to do something with it, you can create wealth. And someday it'll be there for you when you need it. And I'm going to share a couple of real life stories with you, okay? I have a patchwork of history of jobs. I had my daughter when I was 17 years old. I'm not telling you how old I am, but I can tell you this. I graduated in May from high school and my daughter was born on July 25th that year, okay? I was going to golf school, had a pretty nice future laid out in front of me. I didn't come from wealth. I had to work my way up through everything. I wasn't the greatest student in school. I thought I knew more than the teachers, but I liked to golf. So I took that on and I spent a lot of time doing that and progressing and getting better at my skill, and pretty soon I found out that my girlfriend was pregnant, and you have to make that decision, right? What if? What if I choose to be a deadbeat dad and go this way and say, forget it, we're not going to take responsibility for my actions? Well, you got to remember, children, they're the innocent one, right? It's not their fault, right? It's your fault. But what do you do with it? And I chose to be a dad, Okay, so that one event in my life taught me a couple things. First of all, it taught me I need to go out and get a job. Okay, I had been working since I was 8 years old. Literally, I started a little bicycle shop in my neighborhood when I was really young, fixing chains and pumping tires. And then I got another job, 50 cents an hour, and things just progressed. And it taught me a lot about dealing with people, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. But when I turned 17 and then turning 18, and I had my daughter, all of a sudden you become insignificant, don't you? It's not about you anymore, right? It's about your children. I have to provide for my daughter now. So went out and got 3 jobs and started working full-time, got into the oil and gas industry as a welder, and started working on oil rigs. An 18-year-old punk kid working out with a bunch of adults underneath oil derricks in the middle of winter, 24 hours a day, sleeping in my truck. And college wasn't an option anymore. Everything had to go on hold, okay? But what I realized quickly is that I didn't want to work for anybody else. I want to work for myself. And I want to create wealth, because all the people that I worked with and played with at the golf course when I was learning how to golf were all wealthy business people that were in the oil and gas industry. And I realized one thing quickly. 3 o'clock rolled around, they weren't working anymore. They were at the golf course. I never really put 2 and 2 together until I started getting older, right? Well, this is a lot easier than that, so I want to try this. So I started to set my sights on what can I do for myself. And all of these jobs that I had had, and I was actually a policeman at one time too, so for the New York cops that are here, Tommy, I played with you yesterday, and played golf with Tom, let me clarify. Well, my dad was an actual career policeman. He started out as a deputy and then a sheriff and then retired, and so I thought that was the track in life I would take, and I tried that for a couple of years. I was a paramedic for a little while, doing the whole, I'm going to be a cop, no wait, I'm going to save lives, and a lot of different things, you guys, okay? And it took me a while to settle down, but along the way, I met a lot of really cool people, okay? And these people led me to opportunity. Opportunity knocks, and what you have to do is decide whether or not you want to take advantage of it or not. You always ask yourself, what if? What if I do this? What if I do this? I'm forced with a choice, with a decision to make, all right? Well, I chose to follow some of these leaders, some of these business owners, and little by little, these folks would give me opportunity, okay? The guy that I worked for in the oil and gas industry started a hardware store. Well, I had worked at an auto parts store when I was a teenager, and he knew I knew a little bit about retail, so he says, come in and work at my hardware store. So I left the oil patch and got into the hardware store business and started selling screwdrivers. And little by little, he ended up making me a part owner of the hardware store, this little branch hardware store. I had 25% ownership at 23 years old. So one day I find out that he wants to sell the hardware stores, and I'm like, what are you doing? Everything's great, it's finally profitable, we're doing well. He goes, yeah, but I got something else we're gonna do. I'm like, all right. Well, he with the gold rules, right? So we followed him, and he decided to get into the excavation business, which leads me up to how I came into exit realty. We started an excavation business in 1997. I was really young, but I knew that that was something that interested me. We went out and bought, this guy had a lot of money, so buying equipment, buying trucks was never an issue. We had a major competitor in our town, but I wanted to be #1. I'm not happy with just being #2. And in real estate business, if you ain't first, you're last, right? I love that line on Ricky Bobby, and we're gonna talk about that today. But we wanted to be #1. So we went out and bought a lot of equipment, started picking up jobs, and started growing this thing from about 5 of us to 100 employees. We had 100 employees, we had dozens of trucks, semis, we were doing water and sewer and asphalt paving and all sorts of different stuff. And along the way, you guys, my background, I'm a hands-on guy. I have no problem getting in the ditch and throwing a shovel, because when you came into my company, everybody was a ditch digger. I didn't care if you were the best equipment operator or not. When you come in, show me how you run a shovel, okay? Because I'll do it, and I don't have any problem with it. We all got to work together. In 2004, one of the partners that I had was taking the company in the direction that I wasn't comfortable with. I just didn't feel like we were heading in the right direction. Plus, the market was starting to turn. We didn't realize it at the time, but it was really starting to change. Spec building in my area, land development was going crazy, okay? My area is a lot like yours, okay? We have a lot of rural area, we had a lot of development, and we had a lot of construction. Well, in 2004, I ended up making a decision to sell my ownership out of the company. So I sold out, and let's see if I can get this thing to work. And there's a little feedback, and I apologize for that. I started a land development company because my expertise was taking people's property and taking a big, huge 40, 80, 100, 200, 400 acre tract and slicing it up, presenting it to a township committee and getting it approved for development. That was my expertise, picking out views and doing those things. because we had moved dirt in my construction company, so I knew what to do. So people would hire me to help consult them, a lot of farmers and different people. So I'm sitting in my office one day, and I get a phone call from a good friend of mine, and he had owned a tool and die company. And the automotive industry in Michigan, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the automotive industry in Michigan about that time, but the wheels were coming off, okay? And he says, listen, I'm closing down my tooling company. What are you doing now? And I said, well, I started this little one-man show. I'm just doing some land development and that. I said, I'm probably going to build some spec houses. And he says, well, I've always wanted to do that. Do you mind if I come and join you? I said, well, I'm really not hiring. I want to be a one-person show. You know, I don't want any more employees. I just left the 100-employee gig. He says, no. He says, let's partner up. I'll take on part of the company, and you keep doing what you're doing, and let's see how it works out. So I said, yeah, all right. So he kind of came in, and we started doing some spec houses, and I kept developing, and we bought a bunch of golf course property, and it started going really well. And but within 1 year of that, and that was in 2004, the market started to change, and we had a lot of money locked up in property, okay? Back up to October 2004. I'm sitting in my land development office one day. Everything is going great. I'm finally on my own. I'm responsible to no one. And some guy in a suit walks in. Small rural town in northern Michigan, okay? He walks in and he says, hey, you ever heard of Exit Realty? I said, what? He says, Exit Realty. You ever heard of Exit Realty? I said, no. I said, stop right there. First of all, I said, I'm not interested in a franchise. I said, I'm a licensed realtor now. So I said, I looked at Coldwell Banker, I looked at Remax, I looked at all these other brands. I said, frankly, I'm not interested in giving my hard-earned money away to some royalty or ivory tower somewhere. I want to keep it all in-house, and I want to be in control of my destiny. I want to run my brokerage the way I want to run it. I said, I'm not really interested in recruiting agents. I've never heard anything good about franchises. I said, and frankly, I don't even really like the real estate industry. I said, I'm just doing this because this is my little niche now. I said, and secondly, I hate your name. I said, I think Exit, that's a stupid name. And he says, oh, I can see the color go out of his face. He goes, I hear that all the time. I said, honestly, you know what though? I said, I'm a business person. I said, I love hearing good ideas because you never know if I can take a little something out of what you have and maybe it'll make my company better. I don't know. And who knows? My famous line is, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine. If you got something better, maybe I'll join you, right? So it didn't hurt to sit down. Well, 2.5 hours later, this guy ends up telling me the story about Exit Realty. He just said, give me 5 minutes, and if you don't like what I have to say, you can kick me out. Well, the guy was not a great presenter, okay? He was a frumpy guy, and his hair looked like he combed it with a pillow. I mean, but he was a good guy, okay? I liked him. He had character. There was something about this guy that I really liked. And when he got done, I got a hold of my buddy and said, listen, I think there's something here. Now, what I didn't know is that my buddy had already heard the story of Exit Realty because he had gone on a fishing trip with one of these other franchisees before and heard this thing about Exit. So really, within a couple of days, we're collaborating about this new thing called Exit. And we're sitting here punching holes in it going, there's no Exit up here. We would be the only one. We're going to have to start this brand from scratch. Why don't we just keep it Craig Witt Real Estate and let's just run with that? And he says, I don't know. He says, there's something else here. So we liked the business model. So before this guy left, he said, why don't you go to broker owner training, check out what it is that we have, and if you like it, buy a franchise. If you don't like it, leave. We'll still be friends. You can move on with your life. So I told my buddy Bob, I said, let's go up to Toronto, Canada. You know, I hadn't even really ever been to Canada except to come here when I lived in Utica for a little while. It's another story. But I was like, all right, whatever. So Notre Dame was playing Michigan down in South Bend, so we swung through Notre Dame, watched a football game, and then I'm a Michigan fan. Came up here and went to broker owner training. And you guys, the first day that I sat down at broker owner training, I'm very skeptical, all right? I had been pitched so many products, Amway, you name it. All my friends have been in it. I just never really got into that, okay? To each their own, but I'm always skeptical. So I'm getting ready to walk into this room, and I'm thinking, this is going to be a room full of realtors. I don't like realtors. I don't even know really why I'm here. You know, I left my wife back home. You know, I'm in a hotel. This is not good. Okay, this is not what I want to do. And I sit down, and there's probably 30 people in the room. This is a small company at that time, maybe 25 people in the room. And the first thing you got to do is everybody's got to stand up and introduce themselves, one at a time. I'm like, oh, great, you know. So everyone starts standing up, and all these people are in suits and ties, and they all say, one guy says, I was with IBM for 15 years. I was with Microsoft. I was with Century 21 for 25 years. I've been a broker owner my whole life. And I'm listening to all these people, I'm thinking, there's some talent in this room. There's some sharp people here. It was the opposite of the stereotype that I really expected. So all of a sudden I started feeling a little more comfortable. Well, the next thing you know, the founder of the company, Steve Morris, comes out and starts doing the training. I'm thinking to myself, this is not what you hear about corporations. The founder does not come out and do the training. A henchman comes out and does the training, right? And you hear from somebody that shouldn't even be up there training in the first place. So Steve comes out and starts talking, and you start to get this sense that there's more to this company than just this residual thing. Okay, there's leadership. And then Tammy Bonnell comes out. And then Erica Gillio comes out. And as the day unfolds and the week unfolds, all this leadership starts emerging. And you get to see the company behind the brand. And that's what I want to talk about today. There's a company behind this brand that unless you attend convention or unless you attend events like this and see our leadership, you won't experience. You're missing out. Okay? That's why we encourage everyone to come to these events and to come to convention. We want you to experience that. I want you to get excited the way that I got excited. We're all kind of quasi-excited at the agent level, but I want you to get excited like we're excited because we know what's going on behind the scenes, okay? So, Friday comes, we go through the whole week of training, everyone stands up again and says, what did I get out of this week? And you guys, there are grown men crying in this room because they are so emotional because that event, that 5 days, changed their life. It changed their life. And I'm sitting here thinking, how could this be? How could one company impact somebody in 5 days? One man brought his son, and his son and him reconnected during that week because of something that was said at broker owner training. Okay, and I'm sitting next to this guy and he's weeping, and I'm thinking, my heart is like pouring out to this guy going, what a moving moment, you know? And it really sealed the deal for me. Not just the leadership, not the caliber of people necessarily, but the brand. Everything started coming together. And I could see myself building my franchise with these people supporting me. I knew that I could do it because I had them, right? So we bought the franchise. We came back, set up shop, got our office just like a lot of franchisees do, and you pick out your space. And fortunately, I'd gone to broker owner training, so I knew what to do, how to lay out an office and how to set up phone systems and copy machines and all those things, so I didn't waste a lot of money. And January 1st, we opened for business. So I thought, I love Exit. I'm in. I'm 100% into this company. Everyone else must be too. I'm going to go to these agents. They're going to be lined up at my front door. And they can't wait to come in and join my company because I see it. Why don't they see it, right? Anyone ever felt like that? Well, there was nobody lined up at the door. Well, there were people lined up at the door. It was the bill collector and the other people. But I found quickly that it was going to take some time to brand our company. Remember what I said, Exit was not known in our town. There were no Exit signs. We were the only office. And we didn't register on the MLS yet, okay? Now I'm talking, there may have been 6 real estate companies in our town. Now there's 4 real estate companies in our town. But there was over 100 in our MLS. And we were at the bottom of the list. So we hired Alex Sinnick. First thing we did, because when I was a broker owner training, they said, you're stupid if you don't hire our trainers, okay? All right, well, they say hire the trainers. I'm 100% into this company. I'm going to hire the trainer. So Alex Sinnick, I had met at broker owner training. I don't know how many of you have met Alex? Okay, if you haven't met Alex, you need to meet Alex. Very unique individual, but he will definitely tell you what he thinks, okay? But he holds you accountable, okay? And it's an uncomfortable thing for a lot of people. I don't know who's good at phone canvassing. I don't know who's good at door knocking, and I don't know who's good at getting the phone slammed in her ear, people told no. But this guy helps you overcome that, okay? He comes up and does this boot camp. It cost me big bucks. It cost me 15 grand, and at the time I only had like 5 agents, okay? And I'm thinking 15 grand to go a long ways in growing my brokerage right now. But Steve Morris says do it, so I did it. He comes into town, flies in, suit, tie, bald head, he's all cocky, and I'm going to teach you how to list and sell real estate. And I'm like, all right, let's have it. So he sets us up, and he puts us in this room. And he says, all right, and he told us to bring our phone list of all these people that we want to call. Now, you remember, I'm from this town, so I'm a little apprehensive about calling people because I know a lot of people in my town. I don't want people going, oh my God, you're in real estate now and you're soliciting me on the phone? So I'm like, I got to be careful, so I'm going to call people outside of my market. I'm going to call a different area, okay? So we're calling for sale by owners. And we got the do not call list and miles of paper, And he sets us all up, and we're on our cell phones in these little cocktail tables. And he is forcing us to go down through the list and call people. And there are this one woman that I had as an agent, she's crying over it. She's almost throwing up because she's so sick to herself, she can't do it. It's hard. I don't know if you guys have ever done it. Some of you probably have. It's hard. I don't know why it's this fear of rejection, you know. But Alex teaches you, who cares? They're stupid. They don't know any better. So, we're sitting there making calls, and the more calls you make, the better it gets, and the easier it gets. And pretty soon, you get a phone hung up on you. Pretty soon, you get someone who says, yeah, okay, yeah, I think I know who you are. Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm not listing anything, but if my buddy's listing something, I'll give him your number. Pretty soon, this thing starts happening, and all of a sudden, you guys, you go from incompetence to competence, and then you go from no confidence to confidence, because all of a sudden, you feel like, hey, I'm a pro at this now. I have no problem picking the phone up and calling somebody and getting the phone hung up on me, or carrying on a conversation, or I know my objection handling so well that I know what to say when they say this, all right? But it took that one boot camp, and since then we had brought him in 2 more times because it was so valuable. That's something that I've done that a lot of franchisees need to make sure that they do, and regional owners too. We need to make sure we take the training. We can't go out and preach and sell something that we haven't done ourselves, right? We have to be authorities on it. We need to know that what it is works. And that's what I did. That's what I chose to do. So the way that we grew our brokerage is through listings. Okay? Steve Morse's famous line, list to last. Okay? You have to list to last. We went out and got 100 listings in the first year. 100 listings. You know why we grew? Side yard signs everywhere. Everywhere. You couldn't drive through our town without seeing one of our signs. Anywhere. I bought billboards and did that stuff too, and we did Chamber of Commerce, and I was the consummate volunteer on every board in town, okay? But it was the yard signs, because people drive by and they start connecting with this exit thing that they start hearing about. It was phenomenal. That was the turning point in our company. After we started gaining momentum, we went up, we became number 2 on our MLS in our market out of 4 other offices. And the only reason was because there was a RE/MAX office in town. He commandeered the lakefront property and he sold 1 million+ homes. But we had them outnumbered in volume, okay? It was phenomenal. So the listing is what really grew our business. So I believe in that. And I know there are some of you that are probably buyer's agents and you like running people around in your car, and that's great. But listings is how you build a business, okay? I was never a fan of driving people around in my car. I just wasn't. I'm a nice guy, I'm a personable guy, but I really don't want to know your business that much. You know, and I really don't want to waste my money for you. Oh yeah, I really didn't like that one, let's do it again next week. No, you go pick out of these 5 homes that you think have nice curb appeal, and then I'll set the appointment up, we'll go look at them, okay? You're not going to waste my time, all right? So, anyways, so I buy this franchise, we start growing. All of a sudden, I'm talking to agents, and I start realizing quickly that I want good quality agents, so I start recruiting, and I start reaching out to these people. Everything I learned about building listings and getting on the phone was what I learned about recruiting. I learned that not everybody's a good fit. Not every listing is a good fit. Have you ever walked away from a listing because it just wasn't the right listing, or the customer was a little bit challenging? You didn't want to work with them? Challenging? Because they knew more than you did, and whatever. Agents are the same way. We all are. You know, if somebody walked in this room right now and tried to recruit all of you out of Exit Realty, you're going to put your guard up. Okay, we fly our flag and we defend our flag. That's what we do here. Okay, what we do is all of a sudden we get jumped back at them and say, well, here's all the reasons why I want to belong to Exit, because we're so much better. You should be working for us. Okay. Well, we believe that, but they don't, because they're going to defend Coldwell Banker or whatever other company they're part of, because they have relationships there and there's some loyalty there. So what we need to do is find the need and fill the need. Find what's wrong. Every agent has something wrong, okay? We all do. We're dysfunctional. We're messed up. Something's going on. If we can figure out what that thing is, we can help them, and we can fit that into our company. And sometimes, through asking effective questions, you're going to determine that that agent might not be a good fit for your office. We're going to talk about how to build an office with good, healthy agents, okay? Successorship. Exit is 13 years old. We'll be 14 this year. And we've gone through a lot of changes. One thing we haven't gone through is a lot of corporate changes. This company is still the same company it was when it launched. It has the same CEO, same presidents, right? Same leadership team. We've grown a little bit out of necessity, but the company was really built before it was ever launched. A lot of you may not know this, but you know, the company was thought of years and years before it was ever launched. Steve Morse had this idea and had to sit on it for a while, and then he launched it at the right time. The thing to remember is that everyone has to start somewhere, and sometimes people are not a good fit. My job is to be a talent scout. My job is to go out and find good franchisees, and they're hard to find. Great top producers seldom make really good franchisees because they're so busy and they love their job so much that they're out listing and selling real estate. But they're not really good business managers, so it has to be taught, okay? You have to help them step back from being a full-time realtor and help them. And by the way, how many of you think it's pronounced realtor or realtor? Okay, realtor. Sorry, it's a pet peeve of mine. It's realtor. We have to teach them in our position to step back and be good managers of people, leaders. When you take that move from being an agent to being responsible for other agents, it's really hard to continue to do that and compete within your brokerage. You need to separate that. You need to take the company where it's going to go and be a good leader, okay? That's what we do. But it starts with being a good talent scout. When we built this company, Tammy Bunnell had to go out and sell regions. That's how we got started, okay? And she had to sell to regional owners. And some of the regional owners that she had sold to went away a long, long, long time ago, okay? But you got to remember something. We didn't walk in their shoes. There was a regional owner in Michigan before I stepped into Michigan, all right? And for as many things that I can say went wrong, there were a lot of things that went right. They did a lot of good things getting our name spread out across the state. Now, the image wasn't necessarily built to the standard that I wanted it to be, but a lot of people knew what Exit Realty was. So a lot of my work had already been done, okay? We don't know what goes on before we get there. Just like we don't know what goes on with our franchisees when they're not there, okay? We know that everyone's got other lives. I don't go home with all of you every night. I don't know what you're up to. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You guys have your own lives. All I know is that we're part of this thing, this company, this family unit, and we need to continue to work together to move it forward, okay? So the quicker we can let go of the past and forget about the people that used to be here and focus on what's going on and where we're going now, the better off we'll all be. You can't change yesterday, right? If we would, I'm not sure I'd have a 17-year-old daughter. I'd be playing golf. But I do love my 17-year-old. But by the way, she's not 17, she's 21, and she has had my grandson. And that's probably what would have happened if I would have continued to be a golfer. That's from yesterday. I didn't do that, it was a lawnmower. But I like to say that. Yeah, she just turned, my daughter will be 22 this July, and my grandson just turned 1. So that's on her birthday last year, she surprised me, or 2 years ago. She says, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm great. Okay, the importance of events. Let's talk about this real quick. This is a return on your investment. First of all, I want to say thank you for everybody coming into the room. You all had somewhere else you could have been today. Okay, I throw events all the time. And I want to ask you this question. If you throw an event, or if you throw a party at your house, and you have a list of guests, and all these guests are expected to come, and half of them don't show up, how does that make you feel? You take it, relieved. Not your spouse's guess, your guess. It's like throwing a party and having half the room show up, right? It's horrible. It's a personal defeat, right? And if you're a franchisee and you hold a staff meeting and you only get half of your agents to show up, that's not good, you guys, okay? So here's what I say to that. Go to the meeting. If you think that there's too many meetings being held and they're not productive enough, be part of the solution and help them outline a new agenda so that it is a productive meeting. Don't complain, fix it. Add your solution, okay? We're all leaders. We're all part of this together. Let's make it better for everybody. But these events are so important. This is a return on your investment, okay? You guys pay $295 a year. You pay a lot more than that to be a real estate agent, okay? We know that. We recognize that. I promise you that we would not throw an event unless we thought it was important. We don't have time to go out and just throw events all the time and plan parties. When we throw an event, it's a party, it's a celebration, and it's a thank you back to all of you, and we want to provide value to you. We want to give you something to make you feel like, hey, this franchise does produce something, and it does provide something back, and I took something out of here today where I can sell more business, okay? That's the importance of these events, so thank you for coming here. Back to the pump. You got to come back to get pumped up, right? This is like coming back to the well. You got to come back and get a drink, get replenished, so you can go back out and be good again. I know what it's like. We always say, oh my gosh, I can't afford to go, or I don't have the time to go. And then once you get here, you say what? Gosh, I can't believe I wasn't going to come, right? I can't believe I was thinking about missing this. Well, listen, like I said in the beginning, I'm 100% vested in this company. When I bought an Exit franchise, I bought 100% of Exit Realty. I do not have a foot in two canoes, you guys, okay? You'll sink. You're either in or you're out. I know personal things come up sometimes and you can't make events, and I don't mean to get on my soapbox, but please, you'll take something out of this. Jeff Lobb today is going to be phenomenal. Okay? Vinny is going to be great. Hector's going to share something with you that's going to help you sell more business. All right? I talked to you about the conduit of information, networking. You get to see each other again. A lot of you have never even met each other, right? A lot of us come and go. I haven't met a lot of you. Some of you I have. But this is a good networking opportunity. It's a referral source. And education. We learned something. You ever seen that before, Vinny? You can't read that, can you, with your eyesight?
No, sir.
I'll read it to you. Education without implementation is worse than worthless. It doesn't matter what you learn. If you don't do anything with it, it's useless. You just wasted your time. People spend thousands of dollars to go to seminars, and they walk out of there with notes this thick. What do they do with them? Oh, I'm going to file that. So I'm going to refer back to it someday. No, you won't. No, you won't. You'll throw it out, just like I have. Okay. How many of you have one of these? I want you all to have one of these. This is the most powerful tool that we have. The Exit Success Card. There is nothing like getting an email on your iPhone or your Droid or whatever you use that says, congratulations, as a result of you sponsoring this agent into Exit Realty, you received a sponsoring bonus. Okay? There's nothing like that. You cannot sell until you've been sold. Right? Do you agree with that? You cannot sell until you've been sold. Until you honestly believe that this is the right company, you have a really hard time completely believing in it. I promise you this. Your first residual, I don't care if it's $1 or $1,000, you'll be sold. I want you all to get one, and I'm going to help you get one today. Okay? I don't have any extras. You got to get your own. I will tell you this. When I had my brokerage, I recruited agents in because I had to. I had to grow my brokerage because I was the leader. I made $32,000 on this card. Helped put my daughter into college. Okay? Could you use a little more money? Okay. Let's talk a little bit about sponsoring do's and don'ts. I do a condensed version of this at Broker Owner Training where I teach all the brokers. And you got to remember, they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. We don't know what we don't know until we're taught, until somebody teaches us and gives us a better spin on it, teaches us what to do. I'm going to try and save you some time today. So here's what I'll do for you. I'll give you this PowerPoint if you bring me your business card after today, and I'll send it to you. And you're welcome to use it. I will also tell you this. This is on the ERC. Raise your hands if you have not been on the ERC. If you have not been on it. That's good. Do all of you know what the ERC stands for? Okay, I'm sorry, I had to ask. But you guys, there is a great document manager section. It has everything you could ever imagine. If you're ever wondering when you're writing that check for $295 what you get for that, go on the ERC. Okay, look at all the live webinars, everything that we record, all the value that's there. And I say for free, what would you spend $295 to make $395? All day long. I'd spend $1 million to make $2 million, right? Price is only an issue in the absence of value. Okay, why sponsor? And again, I told you before, I had agents that came up to me and said, I'm not interested in sponsoring, don't even pitch me on it. All I want to know is how you're going to help me list and sell more property. That's what I want, that's my core business. Fine. Everyone's situation is different. Some people have a spouse at home that are making good income where they're supplementing their income with real estate. Some people really like doing real estate and they're happy doing a few deals a year. Some people are full-time agents and they're supporting their family. Everyone's situation is different. I'm not here today to talk and pick about full-time agents. I'm not here to pick on part-time agents. Here's what I will say. If you're going to be in the real estate business, be in the real estate business. Customers look at you differently, okay? You're more educated. You're more up on what's going on. You're a better advisor for them. You can't be half in and half out. However, you can be a part-time agent with a full-time mindset, can't you? You can absolutely have your head in the game all the time, but still be a part-time agent because you're a stay-at-home mom or you got something else going on in your life. Okay, that's okay. Accountability. Victoria said that I hold her accountable. You bet I do. She's one of us. She's part of our family. I want her to succeed. If she sells a franchise in New York State, that's good for me in Michigan and Illinois, is it not? I can use that and say, hey, Mr. Prospect, we just sold a franchise in New York State, in Binghamton, or is it Binghamton? Binghamton, sorry. It's Michigan. That's good for all of us. That is good for you. You need to know how many offices do we have, about how many agents do we have across the country. People sometimes look at Exit Realty in your town, especially in rural markets, and they think you're just Exit in this small town. We're not, people. We are a big company, and I guarantee you that until you go to our convention, you won't see that. When you go to our convention and you get in that huge room, and there's huge Jumbotron TVs playing, and you got the founder of our company, all these people, it's life-changing. You all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I'm part of something bigger. We are bigger than Syracuse. We are bigger than this. We are bigger than that. It's a much bigger feeling when you get to see that and witness it. And hey, I know it's expensive, but this is an expensive business. This is no different than being a doctor. You got to pay your dues. Going to conventions, part of that. Financial security. And I'll tell you a couple of stories later. But this is really one of the keys to why Exit's residual system was born. Because there was nothing else after listings and sales in traditional real estate, right? You list, you sold, nothing to list. We wake up every day and we're unemployed, right? You got to go out and find your next deal. I don't know about you, but deals just aren't falling off the shelf in Michigan right now. And the ones that are, you can't stick them together with glue, right? Financial security. I'm interested in my family. I'm interested in leaving a legacy. I'm interested in not having to worry about a mortgage payment. I'm interested in all those things. So if I have a better way and somebody that's already created the wheel over here and I can take that and put it into my life, that's what I want to do. I'm not going to try and come up with my own little scheme to try and make money. This is here. It's already here and it's right in front of all of you. We're going to teach you how to do it a little bit better today. I said it before. Confidence is the result of competence. The better you are, the better you will be. You have to have this so it rolls off your tongue. And by the way, I'm not pretending that all of you need to learn how to regurgitate our formula and our model today. All we need to do is teach you a few things to say to get the broker to have the appointment. That's all we want to do. We want to build that little relationship so that they build that relationship with you so that agent considers coming in. We're going to talk about full-time agents versus, or experienced versus brand new agents. Better is better. Quality, not quantity. We are not a body shop company, okay? That's not what we're here for. We're not to build these huge monster mega brokerages, okay? If we have an office with 400 agents in it, I'm hoping that's because there's 400 full-time, good quality, profitable agents, okay? But would you rather manage 400 agents or would you rather manage 40 agents? I'd rather have, one of my offices in Michigan has 12 agents in it, and their goal last year was for all the agents to cap out. 10 of them capped out. Wow. Fairly rural market. But he says, I don't need 30 or 40 agents. All I need are these 12 agents because I'm going to make them superstars, right? The only way you can get into that office is if all of the agents agree that you're a good fit for the office. We're going to talk about that too. Strategic planning. Part of your business plan should be a sponsoring business plan. We have a very simplified business plan. How many of you fill out a business plan? Great. Where do those go when you download them? In the file, right? Next to all the training material. Right, you refer back to it. No, you don't. You refer back to it in November the next year when we call you and say, hey, we need your business plan. So let's talk about that real quick. A business plan. This is bigger than you, okay? Our corporation needs a business plan. We need to know where we're going. We need to be able to forecast financially for the next 12 months. We need to know about our conventions and about our training schedules and all these things as a corporation, right? But that starts at the agent level. We need to know what your goals are. How many listings are you going to take? How many sales are you going to make? How many agents do you think you might recruit in this year? Because guess what? The franchisee, I'm on their butt because I want to know what their goals are. So they build their business plan off of your business plans. And I build my regional plan off of their plan. It's a requirement in Michigan. I hate that word requirement, like I'm requiring you to do this. It's an expectation, okay, that they all turn in a business plan to me. I don't need 4 or 5 or 10 pages. 1 page. Mission, what do you want to do this year? Agents, listings, production, let's reflect back on it last year, but let's look at where we're going. Keep it simple. And the agents, same way. You can keep it simple. We have a very simple business plan. It's on the ERC, and there's also a sponsoring easy plan. The business plan for agents is called the Agent Easy Plan. There's a Broker Easy Plan. You may have seen it. Then there's a Sponsoring Easy Plan. I think the agent plan actually has a sponsoring plan attached to it. If it doesn't, they're separate. Fill that out if you really want to sponsor. And don't look at it once a year. Look at it quarterly, okay? 6 weeks to every quarter, pull it out and look at it. Are you on track or are you not on track? Victoria said, I don't know if you've heard her speak before about why she joined Exit. She had been recruited for a long time before that. But all she ever heard was 10.75, 10.75, residual, 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 right? People are puking on her all the time, but really never giving her the meats and potatoes of what our company really is, all right? You gotta remember, Exit Realty is a real estate company first. We list and sell real estate. We just happen to have a great little a product, a great solution, a third income stream known as residuals. That's the icing on the cake. Like, come in and join our company and you get all these tools, technology, training, and everything else. Oh, and by the way, if you want to make a little extra money, we can help you with that, okay? So you should not come in and throw that down their throat, because guess what? They don't know what that means. You do, because you've been trained and you've heard it. But they don't know what that means. You know what they think? They think Amway. They think multi-level marketing. They think scheme. They think everything else but what it really is. So you need to ease them in and educate them, okay? It's okay, they don't know any better. It's up to us to help them understand. Tips for success. Who's been through DISC training? Okay, not enough of you. That should be a training that they may want to consider to bring in. I know Hector has done it before. Angel Tucker does our DISC profile testing, his personality testing. Many of you may have been through Myers-Briggs or something like that. Or it teaches you about who you are. And by the way, when I first went into Exit and I went to that broker owner training, the first day we got there, this Bill Nasby, I don't know if any of you know who Bill Nasby is, bald guy, he's like 100 years old. He comes out and he starts talking to us about our mind and our spirituality and how I'm going to fix you and you're all screwed up. And I'm like, listen, buddy, I'm not screwed up, you're screwed up, you know. But I was open-minded and I listened to what he had to say. And he taught me a lot about myself. He taught me about personality. And the biggest thing that they taught me, and Angel too, is they teach you first who you are, like what type of a personality do I have, and then how do I recognize someone else's personality so I can learn how to sell to them, right? So if I'm a high-strung type D personality, which I am, I'm kind of a DIC, don't take that the wrong way, DICS. But I want things done right now, right? I mean, I don't like to wait, I like to make decisions right away and move on. That's just how I run my life, and that's how I run my business. I'm not a very emotional guy. I do have some sensitivity, but not a lot. But I make decisions more based on business and facts than I do based on emotion, because it'll kill you if you run your life based out of here, you know, because we all want to do the right thing. It's hard to do. You want to do the right thing, but you got to make decisions too. DISC, the I's are the inspiring type. That's what most realtors are, right? We're the partiers. We want to go out and have a lot of fun, all right? And then the S personalities are the sensitive type. They're a little bit more reserved, right? So when you're dealing with a listing, a customer, and you're dealing with a buyer, if you could recognize their personality type and move your own personality to adjust to that, wow, you'll be so much more successful. And then the C type are kind of the spreadsheet, more detail-oriented people. Make great administrators in offices. They make great assistants. They make great team members that can help you do all that busy paperwork, because face it, realtors are not good at paperwork, okay? We should be out shaking hands and kissing babies and listing and selling homes, right? And we should have someone that's their skill, pushing the paperwork and making sure it's done right, right? Yeah. Angel will teach you how to do that, and is a phenomenal training. She is well worth your money. Dress for success. I come from a state where you wear a suit and tie down in the Detroit area, right, Vinny? Or you go up into northern Michigan into the UP, the Upper Peninsula, and you're a Youper. You want blue jeans and camouflage and maybe a gun, okay? You walk into the Upper Peninsula into a real estate office dressed like this, they'll throw you out, okay? If you go down to Detroit and you've got flip-flops on and shorts and whatever, they'll throw you out, okay? They don't take you serious. You have to dress for the market that you're in. I'm in a market a lot like yours, but we're very diverse in Michigan. Illinois too. You get south in Illinois, it's very casual. You're up in Chicago, it's suit and tie and French cut shirts and all this stuff, you know. Dress for success. Always dress 10% better than where you're going, okay? Always. It's easier to take a tie off than to put one on. Control the message. The key here today is that it's up to all of us to control what people know about Exit Realty, okay? Everyone else will form their own opinion. We all came from somewhere. A lot of you probably came from another brand. What did you think about Exit when you heard the brand? you had your own opinion. Just like we have our own opinion of Coldwell Banker and everything else, okay? But it's up to us to control the message. So what I want to do is I want to share some things with you today to help you control the message, to say it a little bit better. And remember, again, this isn't about divulging the whole story unless you get really good at it, and that's what you want to do. You could be a recruiter, and you can make a lot of money. We have some of those in our company. One of the things that we also learned at Broker Under Train was this affirmation principle. Okay, and again, I'm a skeptical guy. Steve Morris is very strong on affirmations. And he believes that if you put pen to paper and you write your affirmations out in a positive way, repetitively, and make that into a habit, that your life will improve, okay? So the first day we sit down, he says, hey, I want you to write out some affirmations. I'm thinking, oh, geez, you know, here I go again. But you write them out, and as you write them out, they start coming easier and easier. I'm a good parent, you know, I'm healthy, I'm smart, I'm all these things. I'm gonna be a great regional owner, I'm gonna be a great franchisee. I'm a tremendous listing agent, I'm a great buyer's agent, whatever these things are. And you do that repetitively, it helps you, okay? So if you haven't gone through that program, or if you haven't seen it on the ERC, look into it. It's something that I think would really help you, not just in business, but it helps you in personal life too. Do it with your children. It really helps with your children. My grandson right now, my daughter's actually reading children's books that were made by Angel, one of our trainers, reads these affirmations and these disc profile books to my grandson. We're trying to program them. Remove all negativity. We're trying to control them, right? This is all we want you to be. It didn't work with my daughters, we're gonna try it one step over. Remove all negativity. You guys, I am like the most positive guy, but even we all have bad days, don't we? I mean, when you're on the road selling franchise and you get doors slammed in your face every day, and you're laying there in the hotel at night, and your family's at home, and you're sitting there in some gosh-forsaken town, and you're going, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why won't this work? Why won't this work? Why can't I get a listing appointment? Why can't I get any buyer's agents? Why can't I make this happen? You have to get rid of that, okay? You have to keep going out and doing it. You have to get up the next day with a positive attitude, put a smile on your face, because if you don't have a smile on your face, everybody sees it. Everybody knows. They can read your personality, okay? You have to be positive. And it only takes one good thing to change your whole day, doesn't it? I can go out and get an appointment, 4 or 5 bad ones in a row, and finish the day out with a good one because I decided to cold call into an office and some guy actually sat down and talked to me. It can make my whole day. It can reaffirm why I'm doing what I'm doing, all right? The wish list. This is something very important in a brokerage. You have to decide who you want. Who do we want as agents? What's the perfect makeup? Because what we don't want to do is bring an agent into our office that is going to cause trouble, do we? And if there are agents in your office now that are causing trouble, either help them fix that or they need to go, okay? It's not personal, it's business. It's disrupting the production of the office, okay? There are a lot of people that we've asked to leave the real estate business and exit specifically that are out doing a completely different career now and are happier than they were when they were selling real estate. They're happier, okay? This just wasn't a good fit for them. We want to find people that are a good fit, not just for real estate, but for exit realty. We don't need them drinking the Kool-Aid and wearing teal shoes and teal ties and everything else. But we want them to believe in our company, don't we? We want them to defend our company. We want, if they're out in public or at an after hours and someone starts beating up our brand, that they're confident enough and competent enough that they can say, no, you've got it all wrong. Let me spend a few minutes with you and tell you the real story of our company. Let me tell you how great our company is. Are you judging my character? Because I'm part of that company, and I believe in it. You've been misinformed, okay? This is what we're looking for, right here. Willing and able. We want agents, we want people that are willing and able. You cannot teach personality, agreed? But you can teach a skill. I can teach anybody to listen to sell real estate. I can teach you how to sell a franchise. I can teach you a lot, but I can't teach you how to smile. I can't teach you how to have a good personality. We want willing and able. We want people that are willing to get up and do what it takes every day. I don't know if you know this, but this is a job. This is something that we got to get out of bed every morning and go to work and do. Okay, you can't lay in bed. Well, maybe some of you can. Lay in bed and the phone rings and you just get business and you refer it out. I don't know. I tried that. It didn't work so well. Okay. I saw that, you know, the graph spiked low in my region when I stopped doing that. I never did that. Don't tell Tim. Willing and unable. These are people that want to do it really bad. They're eager beavers and they really want to, but they just don't have the skill set. They just can't make that change from whatever industry they were in or whatever experience they had. into this business. That's okay. The best thing you can do for them is shake their hand and say, you know what, I think you'd be best suited for this business. Let me introduce you to my friend over here. Go say, would you like fries with that? Or whatever that is. Unwilling and unable. These are people that not only can't do it, but they don't want to do it. Okay? So these are the folks that run around the office in the office. They haven't sold any real estate. They have the money to keep their name on the board and pay the dues, all right? But they're unwilling to come to meetings, and if they do come to meetings, what are they doing? They're stirring the pot, right? And causing trouble. They're making it hard for everyone else to learn, and they're creating negativity. Unwilling, unable, get out, okay? Here's the worst kind, unwilling and able. Unwilling and able. They have all the skills. They have the great personality. They're just unwilling to do it. They're unwilling to use it. You give them a chance, though. Give them a chance to succeed. Give them all the tools, training, technology, help them, mentor them. And if they still can't do it, sayonara. Here's the assignment. Here's what I want you all to do. You don't have to do it right now, but I want you to do it when you go back. We don't have time to do it right now. I want you to make a list of every quality that you want out of a real estate agent in your office. What type of people do you want? What kind of personalities? Do you want them to be loyal? Do you want them to be honest? Do you want them to be caring? What about team player? Right? Giving, friendly, all these things that we want. You know, it's interesting to me in this business, and I laugh and I say it's dysfunctional, and I don't mean that only in the sense that there is some dysfunction in it, okay? There's agents, for some reason, you know, everyone says, oh yeah, I can't believe people hire agents like that. Every agent I've ever talked to says that. Oh, we're all perfect. Well, if they're all perfect, where's the dysfunctionality coming from? Somebody out there is not perfect, right? We want to make sure that we build our offices. We're part of helping build the office. We're part of helping the franchisee. The franchisee can't do it on their own, okay? That's why we're all here. We know that. We're here to help. We're here to grow. And for that, you get paid a special bonus to do that. That's a good deal, all right? But if you guys could control that and you could help that broker bring in good quality people, wouldn't it be a better place to work? Can you imagine that? Everybody in the boat rowing in the same direction? Everybody helping each other out? Everybody going to business after hours together? Everyone pulling the load. That's what we want. That's what we foster as a company. That's what Exit's built on. That's our foundation. Teamwork. Let's work together. So, you take a piece of paper, you write out everything that you want. Next staff meeting that you go into, everybody share that and say, this is what we're looking for, people. We want all these people. We don't want people that are negative. We don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. We want these things. Talent scout. We're talent scouts. Look for good talent. Okay? They're out there, and they're right underneath your nose, and they're not always real estate agents. You ever gone to a restaurant and had a waitress or a waiter wait on you, and they just had this awesome personality? And you can tell that they're really not the right fit doing that, but they'd be a great real estate agent. And what do you say to them? Well, you should be in real estate. You ever thought of coming into real estate? Oh yeah, I've thought of that. Or actually, I have my real estate license, right? I've heard that too. We've been out of town, Hector and I have. We've been on regional events, and we've actually recruited people from another state into an office in that state. That's great for everybody. We win because, hey, we just told the story. We just helped that region grow. We just helped the franchisee with their bottom line because they're going to bring in extra commission because this person's going to do deals. It's good for everyone, okay? You always have to have your eye open. Know your competition. When I was a franchisee, I knew what all of my competition was doing. Always. Every morning I was on the MLS. I was always looking to see who was closing deals. I had a hot sheet. I had all this stuff. I want to see who's moving property. I want to see what the franchisees were doing. Are they providing training? Are they taking their people out on picnics? What are they doing? Are they doing something collaboratively? All I needed to know is that I just needed to be one little step better than that. And believe me, that bar was set low, okay? Because they weren't doing anything. Nobody was doing anything. We were the only company in town that was really engaged with our agents and were out doing fun things, okay? And we had a real good, close-knit group of agents in my offices. I had 3 offices, and we would come together and throw parties and do things like that. And guess what? As soon as the other offices heard that we were having parties and doing business after hours at our office and doing fun, everyone's looking in the window going, what's going on over there? You know, how do I get to be part of that? Well, I'm sorry, you got to be interviewed. We're a by invitation only company, but we'd love to sit down and talk to you. What do you mean I can't come in? Well, let's sit down and talk. We're not sure if you're a good fit for us yet. right? Because we're not the only ones interviewing. They're interviewing us just like we're interviewing them, right? Just like all of you. We all have to be a good fit for the company. You need to make sure we're a good fit, and we're going to provide value back to you. Attend events, state conferences. I am at every state conference in Michigan and Illinois. That's my job. I have to be out there representing all of you, right? It's our job to be visible. I always see the same people there. I always see the same people there. And you know who they are? Well, there's a mixture. 95% of them are usually the top producers. They're there to learn. They're there to see what's new for technology. They're not just there for Con Ed. They're there because they're trying to figure out what else is going on so that they can beat their competition. They're the ones that ponied up the cash to go. They're staying in the hotel, and they're coming there to invest their day and take a day off of work so that they can learn. Then you have 5% of those that just had nothing to do that day because they're not selling real estate. They wanted to show up and spend some money. Training. We have incredible training. Jeff Laub is going to share some of that with you today. If you're not taking advantage of the training tab on the ERC, I want to encourage you to do that. Just look through it. Just peruse it. It doesn't mean that you have to take every single thing that we do, but there's a ton of free content on there. Okay? If there's something going on in your town that a title company is hosting, go. If there's something that your local board is doing, go. Go learn. It's a great place to meet recruits, right? It's a great place to meet people. And the more people see you, the more they see you're committed to this business, the more they're going to take you seriously. But you get to know people and you get to see how they interact. And pretty soon you can go, yeah, I thought that would be a good candidate, but the way they conduct themselves, I really don't think they'd be a good fit for our office. It's a really good way to go and learn more about people. Business after hours. We built my business on business after hours. We did ribbon cuttings and we had people over at our office and had fun and all that stuff. I got to know all of the leadership, all the business owners in our town. If you've got a small town, you need to know who the leadership is. You know, we do 30 minutes with Exit. I travel around all over the country and do a 30 minutes with Exit where I could get up in front of everybody and tell them the story of Exit. And I did that not for real estate agents, but I did it for title companies and I did it for mortgage companies, home inspectors. I would invite maybe 15, 20, 25 people into a room that were business leaders, and I would teach them what our company's all about. Because I've got to inform and educate the public too, because just like you all said, they're driving down the road, they don't know what, did I just say you all? Y'all? I don't know where that came from. But we need to educate them too. They're driving down the road and they see an exit sign. What are they thinking? Exit what? What is that? In a new market, they don't know what that is. It's up to us to control that message. We've got to help them. So why not go to the top, right? Go to the top, because guess what? One of these days you're going to say, you know what? You're sitting with a recruit and you just met with a top leading professional in your community and say, you know what? I just spoke with Jim. Call Jim and ask him what he thinks of our company. Because Jim, when I got done talking to Jim, not only thought it was a great concept, but he wants to know how we can get into it, right? Title companies and mortgage companies get our business model. They understand it, right? Insurance people understand our business model. Go to the people that understand it and use them as Pied Pipers to let them help you build your business, okay? Exit's annual convention. I talked about it before. My perfect world is that everybody in this room, I get to see you all again at convention in Nashville. You can drive there from here, it's close. We have a phenomenal couple of days. Is it expensive? Absolutely, it is. The hotel that we stay in is first class, it's 5-star. I don't know if you ever get around and stay in 5-star hotels. I don't a whole lot, but I do at convention time. It is not the Fairfield Inn, I can tell you that. These places are phenomenal. It is a great, great place. And this is not, they're not just going and getting a bunch of hype and motivation and all this stuff. It is content. It is valuable content that not only will you meet people that you can build referrals off of, but you're going to build business and you're going to learn. And you're going to get to meet some of the people like the Richard Flints of the world, the Floyd Wickmans, John Maxwell. I mean, these leading people that are out there across the country that are speaking on behalf of real estate and business, they're right in front of you. And guess what? They're approachable. They're people that you can actually go up and talk to. It's very, very unique. Our conventions are very different. In fact, we've had agents and franchisees that were part of other companies that said, we never went to a Century 21 convention because it was nothing more than a way to get to Las Vegas and run around and gamble and drink all night. We never even went to the convention. They come to our convention, they're in their seat. They're glued to it. They don't miss anything. And we throw one heck of a party. Steve Morris, multi-million-dollar conventions, okay? And everything is well spent and well earned. It's just phenomenal. I would love to see you all go. Networking and marketing. Don't be a secret agent. I always ask agents this: do your parents and your family even know what you do for a living? If they don't, they're the first ones that you should tell. We overlook the obvious, right? I mean, how many times do you go somewhere and people, or you're driving down the road and one of your friends has a for sale sign listed by another agent? And they're like, oh man, why'd you do that? Oh yeah, I forgot you're in real estate. What? I just saw you last Tuesday. Well, it's because you're not telling them. Tell them, who do you know looking to buy or sell today? Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell? Don't forget I'm in real estate. They don't know if you don't. You have to be top of mind. You have to network. Don't be a secret agent. You have to pass out business cards. You should be going through 1,000 business cards like nothing flat. Every time you go to a restaurant, you should be sticking it in the credit card thing. I've done that before and actually had the restaurant call me the next day and say, hey, I've got your ID here. What? My ID? Oh yeah, we got your corporate ID here. I've got a plastic card. If you don't have plastic cards, get plastic cards. Okay? Nobody will throw this away. It's like a credit card. Women love them. Plus, in Michigan, we used to scrape the ice off the windshield. Okay? And break into a door if you have to. There's something about plastic, you guys. It's not just paper. It's different. Upstage your competition. Okay? They're like $100 more to get these things. Is $100 for something that somebody's probably going to put on their fridge they'll never throw away? They're awesome. It's one of the first things I learned from Steve Morris. Plastic cards. Right on our ERC, under approved suppliers. You can go to ColorTech has them now and plasticbizcards.com. Okay, puddles of prospects. When you go to events, we're there to network. But there's somebody in our company named Bob McKinnon. Have all of you heard of Bob McKinnon? Okay. Bob came from Century 21, one of the original 4 founders of C21 back in the 70s. Very, very educated, experienced individual. You ever get a chance to see him at a convention or somewhere, go see him. He said, listen, if you want to go meet realtors, you have to go where they hang out. Okay? Go and jump into a puddle of realtors, wherever they are, and continually go back. Okay? If it's at training events, if it's at board meetings, if it's at Habitat for Humanity, whatever it is, go hang out where realtors are. You're building relationships. You're not going there for the kill. You're going there to learn and to meet people and build this camaraderie with people. That's what we do. Okay? We're relationship builders. Okay? CRM and database management. You would be surprised, maybe you wouldn't, how few realtors actually have a tool to stay in touch with their past clients. How many of you have something that you can track and stay in touch on a scheduled delivery with your past clients? Raise your hand. Okay. That's okay, because we're here to help you. We have Promo Shop. You can use anything you want. Top Producer, you can use OnJax, has a system. Promo Shop. Right in our own Exit Resource Center. What's it, $150 a year? For a full year. Campaigns where you can drip mail people. And I'm not talking about just, oh, it's gardening season. I'm talking about valuable, relevant information that you can stay in touch with your past customers, okay? We have to do that. That's referral business, that's repeat business. As hard as it is to go out and find new business today, wouldn't it be nice to be able to look back on all those people you sold homes to over the years and go and dig up that business and get back in front of them? What are people moving now, every 4 years? It used to be 7, now it's down to 4 or 5 years. That's not a lot of time. Stay in touch. We have the tools through Exit to do that. Follow up, follow up, follow up. I follow up all the time. I'm on the road a lot, so I have nothing but road time. And I'll get on the phone and I'll call people. I'll call people that actually joined another franchise and say, how are you doing? How is it going? Is it everything that you thought it'd be? Do you know anybody in your market that's thinking about making a change? And just have a conversation with them, because we built a relationship. I do care about them. I want to see how they're doing, because I want to know that, guess what, their contract is a 5-year contract. And if I stay in touch with them for 5 years and something happens at the end of that term and they're not happy where they're at, guess who they're going to call? Me. I may not have got them that time, but I'll get them this time. Dirty dozen. We've all heard this before. 12 key people that you need to have real close to you. Pick them on the local level, pick them on the regional level. Do you know the people that run your state association? Do you know local professionals that you need to be in touch with? Who are these people that can drive business to you? But before you think about what can they do for you, I want you to think about what can you do for them. A good real estate agent is up on everything real estate related. We're on Inman News, we're on Risk Media, we're looking at NAR, we're looking at our local boards, we're looking at news and events, everything that's going on, we're looking at mortgage industry news. We should be professionals. That's what people are paying us for. If you're a professional and you have information that you can share with somebody that's one of your dirty dozen, you email them to them and say, hey, John, I just thought you'd like to see this. Was thinking about you. Have a great day. And you continually just drip mail stuff to them, they're going to come back to you. We were just talking this morning, had a discussion about how to get sponsors for these events. It is extremely hard to get sponsorships for events anymore. You know why? Because everyone's got their hand out. We want you to come in and spend money to fund our event, but we're not going to drive business back to you. Or I'm sorry, I can't control my agents. They go where they want to go. You guys, that's tough. We have to have sponsors. We have to have relationships with these folks because we're building a trust. We're building something so we can give value to them and they can give value back to us. Okay? Presentation tips. Smile, be positive, show enthusiasm. You can't get excited, and they can't get excited if you're not excited, okay? I don't care if it's going bad. I don't care if you're not presenting well. It doesn't matter if things just aren't the way that you planned them to be. You have to do your best all the time, okay? You always have to. If you're gonna meet them for coffee, and I'm gonna tell you where to meet people too, if you really feel like you wanna take this and try to go out and start sponsoring some agents in, don't meet them at coffee shops. It's really hard. Okay, restaurants over lunch, it's nearly impossible. Why? One, because prospective agents do not want to go to a public place where one of their coworkers or other realtors are going to see them. Okay, they're afraid, just like you would be. Oh my gosh, we can't go there. That's where everyone else goes. I promise you, I have gone in the smallest of hole-in-the-wall places, out of the town that we were even in, and there have been other agents walk in. And the agent's sitting there that I'm talking to like this, pretending that they don't see him. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable. You've completely lost their attention, okay? The waitress comes up, hey, how are you? And all of a sudden that day you get the perfect waitress that's there every 2 minutes filling your water, right? It's just hard, it's cumbersome and clumsy. Don't do it, okay? Meet them somewhere neutral, okay? If it's going to be a coffee shop, pick a coffee shop way back in the corner where you have privacy. And tell the waitress or whoever's there waiting on you that you need some privacy, okay? This is funny, but this is, a lot of this material I get from other people, just like a lot of people that present do, because there's good little tidbits that you get, and you want to, I want to use that, that's good. You put your own little spin on it. Bob McKinnon does a presentation where he talks about telling the exit story, and he talks about the information dump. Have you ever been in a situation where you're at an event and someone comes up to you and says, hey, tell me about exit realty. What is that? And all of a sudden, your brain just starts short-circuiting, and you start spewing all this nonsense. Right? And you can't string words together, and it's just not making any sense, and they're sitting there going, what? And they're already looking to go refill their drink. And you're like, oh man, well, how many first chances do we get? One, right? We get one chance to get our story out. So rather than saying a lot, let's have something short and concise and to the point so that we can address a few quick things. The elevator speech. There's a book written by Terry Soden about selling. There's a lot of good sales books out there. Jeffrey Gitomer sells them too. Seth Godin, I'm sure Vinny, you've read a lot of them. Teaches speakers how to sell, teaches salespeople how to sell. But it talks about the information dump, and it talks about an elevator speech. And what it does is it talks to you about if you were selling widgets and you stepped you're getting ready to go up to this corporation to talk to the buyer of this corporation. And you got out of your car and you went over to the elevator and you got in, and that buyer stepped into the elevator with you. And you only had 30 seconds to get up to their floor. What would you say to them? You have their undivided captive attention. You know just what to say that's compelling enough that you could close them right in the elevator or knock them out cold. But if you could prevent that and you could get all the information across to them in 30 seconds, wouldn't that be great? See, here's what we want to do, people. We don't want to lift our skirt up. We just want to show a little leg, right? We're not going in for the kill, right? Too often it's like, let's go right to bed. No, we need to date. We need to court, okay? I'm not sure you're a good fit yet. I need to ask some questions. I need to learn more about you. I don't want to spew all of our details and all of our secrets. I want to give them just enough to where they want to come back and they want to know more. I want to book the appointment where it's on my turf, not theirs. At a business after hours, you can't do a presentation. All you can do is just give them a little bit and say, you know what, I'd love to tell you the whole story, but this is not the place. We're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy this. I'd love to set up a time where we can meet and have some privacy. You tell them just enough to get their attention and say, you know what? I'm not here to recruit you. I would love to tell you our story. The more people that know our story, the better off we are. A lot of us are going to be doing deals across the table from a lot of your agents. I'd love to make sure that you know what it is that makes us unique. Effective questions. Those who speak lead. Okay? This has never been truer. You have to mine, data mine. You have to mine for information from people. Remember what I said earlier. You don't know what's going on in someone else's life. They may be perfectly content where they're at that real estate company, but you want them so bad that you push so hard that you actually drive them away. We don't want to drive them away. We want to find out what that need is and fill the need. We want to find out what is it that you're not getting at the office where you're at. Or in your perfect world, what would you like to see? How's the training over there? How's this? How's that? What do you think of this? They may have something going on at home in a family. They may be going through a divorce. They may be going through troubled children. They may be, who knows what's going on. I always say this, it's not no, it's just not right now. Okay? I present a lot of franchise opportunities, a lot. 6 to 8 presentations a week to people. Okay? But I always start with effective questions. Tell me about you. Tell me about you. Where are you at right now in your life? Where do you see your next 5 years? What do you really want to do? Do the same thing with agents. They're the same, it's the same. We need to know where they're at. They may not be ready. All we're doing is planting seeds. Okay? The elevator speech. Okay, so a couple of tips for you. You can write these down if you want. What is exit realty? I've heard that a million times, and I've told it differently 500,000 times. But I've learned what to say that makes people say, that's interesting, I want to know more. Okay? Exit realty is a proven real estate business model that provides financial security to agents and their families. Okay, it's that simple. It's a one-liner. It's a proven real estate business model that provides financial security to agents and their families. What do you mean? Financial security, what do you mean? Well, listen, I would love to tell you about exit realty. I would love to take the time to explain it, but it's really more than just a 2-minute conversation. We're a simple yet complex company. Okay, we do something very different. We're not like traditional real estate. It's important that you know what we do. I'm not here to recruit you. I'd just love to tell you the story. When can we set up a time to talk? The name. How many of you have ever been faced with this? Right? You know what's great is that we're almost 14 years old now, so the name is really not that big of an issue like it used to be. When I came in 2004, it was a huge deal. It was a huge deal to me. Remember I said it was stupid? I thought it was. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it meant. But as soon as I was taught what it meant, and I was taught how to sell it, it makes it a lot easier, right? Well, the name, you know, there's over 250,000 names every year submitted to the copyright department to be copywritten, every year, to be trademarked. 250,000. Well, if you just go in with the rest of them, you'll never stand out. You'll never be any different than anybody else, will you? So we needed to do something different. Yahoo and Google, what do they mean? What does that mean? I don't know. What does it have to do with anything? Coldwell Banker, what does that sound like? A bank? I don't know. You'll have fun with it. Okay? Exit is a genius name. Okay? Exit, the name in itself is short, it's simple, it means safe passage. It's advertised with other people's money. It shines at night even while you're sleeping. And what do you think IBM, Microsoft, or Coldwell Banker would pay to have their name over every corporate door in America? You know, a RE/MAX sign would do you no good at all if this building caught fire. Right? Across the country, they're actually moving the exit signs, turning them green, and they're moving them to the base of the floor because in a fire, you can't see, you have to get on your knees to crawl out, so it's down to floor level. So they're actually changing for us. Okay? The name was actually derived overseas. Steve Morris was actually on a vacation one time. I won't tell you the whole story, but the condensed version is, he was over in Japan, and they were in a restaurant, him and his wife, and he looked up and he saw an exit sign. And he said, how simple is that? He said, it's the only thing in this restaurant that everyone universally understands. Everyone can read that. Everyone knows what exit means. It's really the English exit, but it's everywhere across the country. And that's how he really got started with that premise. Something simple, short, 2 syllables, 1 word. It's a good 4-letter word, right? The success card. Don't forget what I said. I want you to get a success card. The only way you get a success card is by sponsoring an agent in, okay? Find some good talent, bring it to your broker, let them close them, okay? The takeaway. I love the takeaway. You gotta be careful here. You can lose on the takeaway because people will call your bluff, okay? So you absolutely have to be in control of what you're talking about. I only go in for the takeaway after I've met with this person a couple of times and I feel like they're stringing me along, right? Because you don't want to burn that bridge. You just want to make sure that they know that you're in control, okay? Remember, I'm the one that's in the company. You're not. So you'd be joining my company, okay? You and I are going to be in the franchise department. You and I are going to be under contract for the next 5 years. That's like a marriage. They're easy to get into and they're hard to get out of, right? I want to make sure that the next 5 years are good for both of us. If it's hard going in, it's going to be hard coming out. How about a listing? If you sit down at the kitchen table with a listing customer and it's bad that day, it's going to be bad for the term of the listing, is it not? Typically, okay? Role playing. When we first went to broker owner training, we sat down with these boards, and I know Hector remembers this, John Farrell remembers it too. We had these boards that had the exit story, the formula written out on these boards, not the formula, but the presentation process. And part of the day, we would sit down in chairs across from each other, and we would hold up these boards, and we would take people through the board, and we'd present to them, like we were selling exit to them. And then they would do the same thing to us. That one day taught me more about exit and how to tell the story than anything else. So here's what I encourage you to do. On the ERC is a presentation process. It's a presentation on PowerPoint, which is great for when you have a sponsor, because you sponsors can work together, right? Your teammates, but pick anybody in the office, do it as a group, it doesn't matter. Learn the presentation process. It doesn't mean that you're going to be sitting down giving the presentation to everybody. What it does mean is that you're learning the language. You're learning about how our commission is structured. You're learning about the 10, 7, and 5. I bet if I went around this room and asked everybody right now, explain 10, 7, and 5 to me, you could probably get started, but you'd really have a hard time filling in the blanks, okay? That's okay, but I want you to get to the point where you're competent, because I promise you this, somebody is going to ask you, tell me about exit realty. And what do they always say first? Oh, it's your commission. It's not about the commission. You know, agents don't leave brokerages because of commission anymore. It's not about that. It's about leadership. Number one reason, it's leadership. That's why agents join companies, okay? Overall. The commission's important, but that's not what's really important, okay? Once you figure that out and you figure out what their real issue is, you can get past that, okay? But what's really important to know is our structure, the 10, 7, and 5. How do you earn 10%? What does it mean to earn 10%? And then at what point do you go to 7%? And then tell me about this beneficiary. Tell me about the dues. Tell me about this $295. You know it's prorated, so when you come in, you only pay it until June 30th. All these things. What about the transaction fee? Do you have a royalty? No, we don't have a royalty. We have a transaction fee. Well, what's the difference? One's off the top, one's off the net. You have to know that. Does it come out of the agent's portion? Does it come out the broker's portion? How much goes to corporate? What do they do with that money when they get it? I can see how your head's spinning. But that's our company. That's our model. We need to know that, okay? I know a lot of agents that if you set down a closing statement, they wouldn't really understand how they get paid. All they know is there's a check there. This is good, you know, but I don't know what all these fees are. Tell me what these fees are. Our company was so well designed that we actually had a graduated transaction fee for when you sold minimum commission deals, because we don't want to penalize you because we already know you're making less on sales, so we want to reduce that amount. Which brings me to regional development fees. We had a discussion about that this morning. We all pay regional development fees, okay? Regional development fees was created because every region was doing a little bit something different, and they were asking other agents to pay money in for this marketing fee or for whatever else they wanted to do with the money. So Steve Morris wanted to get control of that and say, listen, let's do this across the country. Let's create a regional development fee. All the agents contribute, and then the regional owners can go back to the agents and say, where would you like to spend this? We're going to do it on billboards this year. We're going to run that for 12 months, and then we'll try something else, okay? The billboard campaign was highly successful. It worked very well. A lot of people didn't like the message. We changed the message. We can't please everybody, but for the majority, it worked, okay? We've now got to the point where 50% of those regional development fees are going towards training. So your franchisees are trying to work through the training right now to figure out what's the best for all of you. So if you have input for that and you know about Kevin Ahern and Johnny Lowy and Jeff Lobb, be part of that process, because your brokers are getting ready to make a decision on who to bring into your offices and who to bring back into the region for live training, okay? Be part of that. That way you get what you want. all right? That's your work. It's coming right out of your commissions. The minimum commission deals don't fund the regional development fees, so when there's a lot of foreclosed homes like there have been in Michigan, that regional development fee fund doesn't grow that fast, so we really have minimal money. But right now you guys have some money in that account, and Victoria's trying to do the right thing that's fair for everybody, okay? So let your voice be heard, and she'll definitely listen. Follow up, personal notes. I write thank you notes to, I don't know, I probably write 20, 30 personal notes a week, handwritten on exit stationery, and I mail them out of my pocket. Hey, thanks for taking the time to meet me. Hey, I'm sorry about the loss of your husband. Hey, congratulations on the birth. Whatever it is, send something out, even if it's one a week, to somebody. Timing is everything. It's not always no. And here's the key. Why did they choose elsewhere? If you're trying to sponsor someone in and they say, you know, I'm really making a decision to go to Coldwell Banker. I liked what you had to say, but I feel like this is the right move for me right now. Find out why. Why? Was it based on the information that I gave you, or was it for some other reason? Who knows? It may be, oh, my mom's brother's sister's best friends with the broker, and you know, they're going to help me, or they're going to give me better training, or I really didn't like this. Find out what that is. Find the need, fill the need. If you know what's wrong, fix it for the next time, okay? Or you didn't do a very good job on the front end asking the effective questions about what was important to them, right? Listen, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. The bottom line, exit is different. You have to diversify. We've created a business model, Steve Morris has, where you can diversify your business. A successful business has multiple streams of income. So when times get tough, you're still able to make it. If something slows down, you're able to fill in with this other income, right? That's what the luxury of the residual system is. A sponsoring bonus comes at just the right time sometimes, okay? I ran a brokerage. I know how hard it is to make money in this business when things are slow, okay? There were some times when I had other sponsors that were selling deals that were helping me keep the lights on in our brokerage until we got momentum. It will do the same thing for you at home, okay? Just when you think you're not sure how you're going to make that mortgage payment and one of your sponsors sells a home and you get a residual, you'll be sold. Life-changing. Family support and stability. I can't express enough how personal our residual system has changed lives in this company. There are stories everywhere. Some of you may have heard them, some of you may have not, but there have been life-changing stories where residual income has helped a family member or a loved one, okay? There's been a lot of death across the country. We've been around for 13 years, going on 14. There's been a lot of people come and go. And because of the hard work and the efforts of those that had sponsored while they were here, their loved one and their partner are able to still get residual benefits, okay? We've suffered 2 deaths, 2 losses in Michigan over the last 6 months. One of cancer, and one was a freak accident. Lady was perfectly healthy, had a stroke on a Friday night, went into the hospital, they sent her home. Saturday night, she was getting headaches again, wasn't feeling good, went in Sunday morning, she was dead. Freak. Just makes you scratch your head and go, why, right? Because she had sponsored people in. After that, part of our job, the unfortunate part, is that we have to go and explain the transfer of beneficiary benefits and get them to sign paperwork so that that money can now be directed to them. And so as we sit down with their spouses and we say, we need you to sign this assignment form, they never really understood what it was. They have a lot of grief going on, right? They really never understood what it was that their spouse did. And all of a sudden we say, no, because she was here and she had 3 sponsors underneath her, they produced this much over the last 12 months, and you're going to be entitled to 7% of that, or 5% of that rather, over the course of life as they still produce with exit realty. These people were crying. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that this opportunity was there. They didn't know about it. Okay, they had heard about it, but they really didn't get it until that happened. So just think about that. If you step off the sidewalk tomorrow and you get hit by a car, what happens to the family? What happens to your children? We have a system that can take care of it. I've got 4 minutes. I think I can do it. Back when I first met that oil and gas guy that had all the money, got me into the hardware store business. We had sold the hardware stores. I remember sitting at the counter one day and these guys in suits come walking into my hardware store. I called it my hardware store. It's just part owner. And they're looking around. I said, can I help you? And they said, no, we're all set. We're just looking around. I said, okay, well, let me know if you need anything. They said, well, where's the back room? We'd like to see the back room. So why would you like to see the back room? They said, well, we just bought this hardware store and we're wanting to do some inventory. I said, you what? They said, well, yeah, we just bought this hardware store. Actually, we bought all the hardware stores. He had 4 hardware stores. I said, well, I didn't even know it was for sale. So I picked up the phone, I called my partner, and I said, Ron, what's going on? There's these guys in suits here from this Gilroy's Hardware. They said that the hardware store's been sold. Oh, yeah, I sold the hardware store, and but don't worry. He says, we're starting an excavation business, and yada, yada, and that's how that all started. So we're sitting in, as the company started to grow, we started getting big quickly, because this guy had money, so he was able to go out and buy the equipment to do the jobs, and we could take on bigger jobs. And we could pay employees well and offer benefits, and we had things that other companies didn't have. So it was really going well. After the first couple of months, he was doing things in the company that, my experienced mind didn't think were proper. So I'm like, well, why don't we do this? Or let's do this. Or have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this? And I'm in there like micromanaging my partner.